Your avoidant ex is almost certainly not coming back. At least not as long as you keep behaving exactly the way that they expect you to. See, avoidants thrive on predictability. They assume that you'll chase, they assume that you'll reach out, and they assume that you'll still be there whenever they feel like coming back. But when you flip the script and you go silent, everything changes. Avoidants are really wired in reverse. Intimacy makes them retreat, but space makes them feel safe enough to miss you. And when you apply no contact properly, you trigger a very specific emotional sequence that takes them from relief all the way to regret. Now in this video, I'm going to walk you through the 8 emotions that your avoidant ex will experience when you go no contact, step by step. Because avoidants don't process breakups the way that most people do. While you're in full panic mode right now, they're probably still in the relief phase. But the part that most people never realize is that if you hold your ground, that relief doesn't last. It cracks. And then everything flips. Based on my 15 years of breakup coaching, the sweet spot for this emotional shift is usually around 30 days. Not in 2 weeks, not a few days to see what happens, but really around a full month. But this only works if you really truly commit 100%. So that means no checking in, no watching their stories or replying to breadcrumbs, no accidental likes, really nothing. I know it feels harsh, but remember, they chose distance. They don't get to keep you at arm's length and still expect, emotional access whenever they're bored, whenever they're lonely or needing validation. They need to feel the full weight of your absence. Otherwise, nothing changes. So once you do go silent, here's exactly what happens inside their mind. When you go no contact, you're not just ignoring your avoidant ex. You're breaking the emotional pattern that they rely on to feel safe. And when that pattern collapses, they move through a predictable series of emotional reactions. So here is what actually happens. And it starts with number 1, surprise. See, the first thing that your avoidant ex feels isn't sadness, it's shock. Avoidants expect to be chased. It's the pattern that they've relied on for years. They pull away, the other person pursues, and that pursuit becomes their safety net. It gives them validation without requiring vulnerability. So when you suddenly stop chasing, you break the only dynamic that they really trust. They can't categorize you anymore. Instead of thinking, I need space from this needy person, they start thinking, why aren't they fighting for me? And this shift really matters because avoidants often leave relationships because they think they've already figured you out. And your silence makes you unpredictable again. And unpredictability creates curiosity. And curiosity is the first spark of renewed attraction. And the next emotion is denial. So after that initial surprise wears off, their ego steps in and they slide into denial. And they're going to tell themselves things like, well, they're not actually gone. They always reach out eventually. They're just trying to get a reaction from me. And of course, this denial is rooted in their attachment style. Avoidants believe that people will wait for them. They think that distance won't cost them anything because historically it rarely ever has. So for the first week or 2 of no contact, they soothe themselves with the belief that you're still emotionally available. You're just temporarily quiet. And this is why you cannot break. Because if you reach out at this point, you just confirm everything they believe. That you were waiting, that you weren't really gone, and that they still have all the power. But if you stay silent, then that denial cracks. And then you get to the next emotion, number 3, which is fear. So it's usually around week 3, that crack starts to become a break. Reality sinks in, and your avoidant ex experiences actual fear. But not the fear of closeness that pushed them away from you, the fear of losing you. Because when you were chasing, they never really had to worry. You were always there, always trying, always the one maintaining the connection. But your silence removes that safety net, and suddenly they feel the cost of their distance. Their internal thoughts shift from, I need space, to what if they don't want me anymore? What if I push them too far? Will I maybe lose them for good? And this is the turning point where their initial relief after the breakup dissolves into anxiety. Your silence becomes the loudest thing in their life. And then there's the next emotion, number 4, loneliness. See, avoidants isolate themselves to feel safe, but remember, they still crave connection. So when you were reaching out, even if they ignored you, your messages at least reassured them that someone cared. Every text gave them that small hit of validation, proof that they weren't alone. And of course, no contact shuts that off completely. The silence stops feeling peaceful and starts feeling empty. They may try to fill the void with friends, with work, casual dating, but none of it is going to replace the familiar connection they had with you. Remember, avoidants don't form deep bonds quickly, so the loneliness hits harder than they expect. And that heavy, hollow loneliness is what softens their emotional defenses and lays the groundwork for what comes next. And what comes next is emptiness. Now, emptiness is different from loneliness. Loneliness is missing people, and emptiness is more about missing you. Avoidants often break up imagining a future full of freedom, of independence, and fresh excitement. They picture, a lighter, happier version of their life. But once the initial relief fades, they're left with a hollow feeling that they didn't anticipate. So they'll try to fill it with work, with hobbies, distractions, or even a rebound relationship. But none of it lands. None of it feels meaningful because they haven't actually processed the breakup. They've just tried to outrun the emotions. Now, a quick warning here. During this stage, your ex may seem withdrawn or even depressed, and you're going to feel a strong urge to reach out and comfort them. Please don't do it. This emptiness is the only thing that forces avoidants to confront what they've lost. So if you jump in to soothe them now, you refill their validation tank and you remove that very feeling that motivates them to reconnect. So let them sit in that void, because that's where the growth really happens. And the next emotion is curiosity. When you remove yourself completely, you create a vacuum in their life. And the brain hates a vacuum. It has to fill it with something. And that something, of course, is thoughts of you. Because you're not texting them, you're not watching their stories, not showing up on social media or sending breadcrumbs, they have really zero information about you. And that silence becomes loud. They start to wonder, why aren't they reaching out? Are they happier without me? Did they maybe meet someone else? And these questions loop in their mind because uncertainty is magnetic. You cannot be attracted to somebody that you think you've already completely figured out. Your silence restores mystery, and mystery is that spark that reignites attraction. And curiosity is the bridge between missing you and wanting you again. And the next emotion is number 7, desire. So once curiosity starts, desire is not far behind. And this happens because avoidants deactivate their attachment system after a breakup to protect themselves emotionally. It's how they numb the pain. But no contact removes the pressure and restores safety. So the deactivation slowly lifts. And when it does, the negative filter they were viewing you through suddenly disappears. Nostalgia kicks in, and all of a sudden they start idealizing the best parts of your relationship. The laughter and chemistry and comfort. This is the classic phantom X effect, remembering the relationship in a warm golden glow. And this is often when avoidants reach out just for something casual. A hookup, a late night message, something low risk that gives them connection without vulnerability. But again, giving in too early can kill the momentum. Physical intimacy without emotional commitment pulls them right back into avoidance. Desire only leads somewhere meaningful when you actually let it build. And then there's number 8, realization. So this is the final stage, and it's the one that truly matters. Avoidants pride themselves on not needing anyone. Their whole identity is built around independence and self-reliance. But no contact delivers a shock that breaks that illusion. When your presence, your support, and your emotional stability disappear completely, they finally experience the real cost of losing you. They realize the freedom that they fought for doesn't feel good anymore. They realize that life without you feels smaller, emptier, and less inspired. And they realize that what they pushed away was the very thing that made them feel whole. And when an avoidant reaches this stage, the stubbornness breaks. They don't just want you back. They feel like they genuinely need you back. Now, getting your avoidant ex to this point takes patience and discipline. But once they reach this stage, they will almost always reach out. The challenge is handling that first contact correctly. Move too fast, and you'll trigger their fear all over again. But if you move too slow, then the moment can fade. Now, if you want to know exactly what to say, how to respond, and how to guide them from the first message into a real relationship again, then I highly recommend you watch my full video at breakupbrad.com. It covers everything that I can't fit into a short YouTube video, especially the advanced steps that you need to take once they finally do come back around. For now, thank you so much for watching. If you found this helpful, obviously please hit the like button. It really helps out the channel, and subscribe for more advice every week. I'm Brad Browning, and I will see you in the next video.